You ever wake up in the morning, sit on the edge of the bed, and just sigh? Not because you're in pain, not even because you're tired, but because something feels off, like your body's still asleep, even though your eyes are open. For a lot of men over 60, that moment right there, that groggy, heavy pause, is the first sign that their manhood isn't showing up the way it used to. And I don't just mean in the bedroom, I mean in life. That feeling of strength in your legs when you stand up straight. That confident stride to the kitchen. That spark when your wife brushes her hand across your shoulder. The man you used to be is still there, but somewhere along the line, his presence faded a little. Not gone, just quiet. I remember a gentleman named Thomas. He came into my office a while back, 71 years old, retired Navy mechanic. Still strong in spirit, but his eyes told a different story. "Doc," he said, "I don't feel like myself anymore. I wake up feeling weak, like I'm fading. And I'll never forget this part." He tapped his chest and said, "I miss the man who used to live in here." That's a powerful thing to admit, and it's more common than most men are willing to say out loud. If this sounds familiar, I want you to hear something today. Your manhood isn't gone. It's just been waiting for a wake-up call. And believe it or not, that wake-up call can start with just 3 minutes every morning. Before I share what those 3 minutes are, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Robert Jansen, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping men just like you feel stronger, sharper, and more alive in their bodies. I've seen what works, and I've seen what doesn't. But most importantly, I've seen what happens when a man starts believing in his body again, because when that belief returns, everything else follows. So what's the secret? What is this 3-minute morning routine that can reignite circulation, wake up your hormones, and bring your manhood back online? It's movement, but not just any movement. We're talking about deliberate, blood-pumping, hormone-awakening motion that targets the exact systems responsible for your energy, performance, and confidence. And the best part? You don't need a gym. You don't need fancy clothes. You don't even need to leave your bedroom. Let me take you back to Thomas. When he came to see me, he was waking up every morning feeling sluggish, cold in the hands and feet, and totally uninterested in physical intimacy. "It's like my body shut the door," he said. And yet, his heart and his mind were still interested. He still wanted that connection. He just couldn't get his body to meet him there. So I gave him something simple. I told him, "Thomas, tomorrow morning, before you touch your coffee, before you turn on the news, before you even check your phone, stand up and move your body for 3 minutes. That's it, but you've got to do it with purpose, with rhythm, with breath." He gave me that skeptical look men often do when the solution sounds too simple. But he agreed. And what did those 3 minutes look like? We started with just 3 things. A few deep squats, some gentle hip circles, and a motion I call the wake-up reach. Arms lifted overhead, body stretched tall, breathing deeply as you rise and exhale as you lower. These aren't exercises you do to get in shape. They're signals. You're telling your body, "Hey, it's time to get the blood flowing. It's time to open those vessels. It's time to get testosterone circulating again." See, when you move certain parts of your body, especially your legs, hips, and lower back, you're actually stimulating blood flow to areas that are directly connected to your performance. These areas tend to get tight and sluggish with age, especially if we sit a lot or aren't moving first thing in the day. But when you stretch them, open them, and get the muscles working right away, you activate something called vasodilation. That's a fancy word for widening your blood vessels. And that's the key to healthy circulation, not just in your heart or brain, but down below too. Now, why is this just 3 minutes? Because at this stage of life, consistency beats intensity. You don't need an hour-long workout. You need a habit that wakes your body up and tells it, "I still need you." Let's go. Thomas started doing his 3-minute routine every morning, just like brushing his teeth. After a few days, he didn't feel much change. But by the second week, he walked into my office with a smirk and said, "Doc, I stood up this morning and felt something I haven't felt in years, confidence." He said he was sleeping better, waking up with more energy. And his wife noticed, too. She told me I looked taller, he laughed. And that's what movement does. It realigns you. It reactivates you. It brings blood, oxygen, and life back into places that have been asleep for too long. If you're finding this message helpful, would you do me a favor? tap that like button. It tells the YouTube algorithm to share this with more men who might really need it. And while you're at it, hit subscribe and the little bell icon so you don't miss the next video. I promise I've got more practical advice coming your way. And let me know in the comments, just write, yes, if this is something you're willing to try. Or, no, if you're not quite convinced yet. I read every single comment, and I use your feedback to make these videos better. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, Dr. Jansen, I've got arthritis. I can't do squats. That's okay. The beauty of this is you can modify the movement. Can't squat? Sit in a chair and stand back up slowly. Can't stretch high? Just lift your arms as far as they'll go. It's not about perfection, it's about activation. Those 3 minutes are your message to the body. We're not done yet. And if you build that ritual into your day, right when you rise, before distractions flood in, you'll start to feel the shift. Not just physically, but mentally. Because your body follows your intention. And when you greet the day with energy, your manhood remembers how to show up again. Now, let's go a little deeper into what actually happens inside your body during those 3 minutes. Because it's not just about warming up your legs or stretching your spine. It's about triggering a powerful internal response that most men don't even realize is still available to them. You see, when you start moving purposefully first thing in the morning, especially with large muscle groups like your thighs, glutes, and core, your body responds by increasing blood flow and oxygen delivery. But more than that, it starts releasing something called nitric oxide. This is the same molecule that's responsible for relaxing and opening up your blood vessels, allowing blood to move more freely, especially to those areas that matter for male performance. Nitric oxide is the key to getting strong, lasting erections. And guess what stimulates its release naturally? Movement, deep breathing, and engaging those big muscles that have been resting all night long. Now think about it. If you're waking up, skipping movement, heading straight to the coffee pot or plopping down in front of the news, your body stays in a kind of sluggish, low oxygen mode. The blood stays sticky, the vessels stay tight, the energy stays locked away. But those 3 minutes of circulation-focused motion? They're like flipping a switch. I had another patient, Samuel, 68 years old, former postman, big personality but low energy. He told me he missed the days when he could feel strong in his body. My mornings are the worst, he said. I feel like I've got cinder blocks strapped to my legs. And in his words, down there, it's been a ghost town. I gave Samuel the same routine I gave Thomas. Just 3 minutes. We modified it a little since his knees weren't great, but he's still committed. Gentle knee lifts, slow hip rotations while seated, and standing heel raises to get the calves pumping. I told him to pair it with some deep breathing. 5 seconds in through the nose, 5 seconds out through the mouth. 2 weeks later, I got an email. The subject line said, "You were right." He told me his mornings were clearer. His hands were no longer ice cold. He was standing taller. And that ghost town? Well, let's just say the lights came back on, he joked. That's the power of movement. That's the effect of just 3 minutes of activation. And here's something else that matters. Those 3 minutes don't just impact your circulation and testosterone, they affect your brain. Morning movement has been shown to improve dopamine release. That's the chemical that helps you feel motivated, focused, and yes, even sexually interested. So when men ask me, Dr. Jansen, why don't I feel desire anymore? I tell them, part of it is blood flow, part of it is hormones, but another big part is mental energy. If your brain doesn't get the signal that it's time to engage with life, everything starts shutting down, bit by bit. That's why this isn't just a manhood routine. It's a life routine, and it's something you can build into your day effortlessly. You don't need to set aside an hour. You don't even need to change clothes. Just wake up, plant your feet firmly on the ground, and give your body those first 180 seconds of attention. Wake up your legs, open your hips, stretch your arms, breathe, not rushed, not distracted, just present. If you're watching this and thinking, I've never exercised a day in my life, don't worry. You don't have to become a gym rat. You're not training for a marathon. You're reclaiming control. You're sending a signal to your body. I'm still here. I still care. Now if this message is speaking to you, would you take a second and hit that like button? It tells YouTube this is content worth sharing, and more men over 60 will find it because of you. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button too. I release practical, senior-focused health advice every week. Real solutions. No gimmicks. Just what works. And please leave a comment. Just type, yes, if this routine sounds like something you're ready to try. Or type, no, if you're still unsure. I do read every single comment, and your answers help me guide the next videos. Now let me be clear, 3 minutes in the morning won't solve every problem overnight. But it's a doorway. It's how you begin to shift the balance back in your favor. From stiffness to movement, from fatigue to focus, from silence to spark. And this is important. When your body starts moving better, everything else you do gets easier. Your walks feel lighter, your posture improves, your digestion becomes smoother, and yes, your performance, whether that's in the garden, in the gym, or in the bedroom, begins to show signs of life again. I've watched this unfold again and again in my practice. And not just with men in their 60s. I've seen men well into their 80s come alive again, just by giving themselves a few focused moments each morning. It's not about adding something to your to-do list. It's about giving yourself permission to be a priority. You've spent decades taking care of others, providing, supporting, sacrificing. Now, it's your turn. And it starts, not with a pill, not with a product, but with you. In your own home, on your own feet, for just 3 minutes. Because your manhood isn't something you lose. It's something you either nurture or ignore. And when you nurture it, with movement, with care, with intention, it responds. Just like Thomas, just like Samuel, just like the countless other men who decided one morning, today, I do something different. Now once you've started waking your body up with that 3-minute morning movement, something remarkable begins to happen. Your awareness returns. You start to notice how your body feels again. You realize that your breath is deeper. Your balance is steadier. And maybe for the first time in a long while, you're actually present in your own skin. And that, my friend, is where the deeper healing begins. Let me share another story. This one's about Ray, a quiet 75-year-old retired accountant who didn't talk much during our first appointment. He sat in my office with his arms folded, politely nodding while his wife did most of the talking. He's not himself anymore, she said, he's always tired. He barely talks. And when I reach for him at night, he just rolls over. Ray finally looked up and said softly, I just don't feel like a man anymore, Doc. That hit me, not because it was uncommon, but because it was so honest. And I told him something I want you to hear too. You're still that man. But your body and mind are waiting for your signal. So we began with the same plan, 3 minutes every morning. But for Ray, I added something else, a small practice I call intentional breathing with gratitude. Sounds simple, but it's powerful. Right after his movement, just 60 seconds more, Ray would sit, close his eyes, and breathe. Slowly, deeply, and as he exhaled, he'd quietly think of one thing he was grateful for. Could be anything: his morning coffee, his granddaughter's laugh, the warmth of sunlight through the window. Why did I ask him to do that? Because the connection between your mind and your manhood is not a myth. It's real. When your brain is in a constant state of stress, anxiety, or numbness, your nervous system sends a message to your reproductive system: stand down. Not safe. That's how desire fades. That's how performance weakens. And that's how disconnection begins. But when you slow your breath, when you feel into your body, and when you remember what you love about being alive, something switches back on. Your body shifts out of survive mode and into thrive mode. Ray didn't notice a big difference the first few days. But by week 2, he said something changed. He started smiling in the mornings again. He was teasing his wife at the breakfast table. And, in his words, the old fire's been flickering again. That's the thing most people forget. Your manhood isn't just physical. It's emotional. It's spiritual. It's rooted in how you feel about yourself as a man. And when you start your day by caring for your body and calming your mind, you send a very different message than when you just drift from task to task without pause. Let's break it down. These 3 minutes of movement stimulate nitric oxide, boost circulation, awaken testosterone. That alone makes a difference. But when you follow it with just 1 minute of grounded breathing, your nervous system settles. Your stress hormone cortisol drops. Your blood pressure evens out. And suddenly, you've created the perfect internal environment for male health to thrive. That's what Ray did. And it didn't stop with just energy. He began walking every evening, eating more whole foods. He even lost 8 pounds over the next few months, not because he was trying to lose weight, but because his body was working with him again, not against him. I want that for you too. Now if you're watching this thinking, Dr. Jansen, I don't know where to start, let me make it even easier. Tomorrow morning, when you open your eyes, don't touch your phone. Don't rush, just sit up, plant your feet on the ground. Start with some light ankle rolls. Then slowly stand. Do 5 gentle squats. Reach your arms up high like you're trying to touch the ceiling, then let them fall back down. Roll your shoulders. Take 3 long, deep breaths. Then sit, close your eyes, and ask yourself, what am I grateful for today? That's it. That's the whole practice. 3 minutes of movement, 1 minute of breathing, and a body that slowly, gently, begins to wake up to life again. And if this feels right to you, if it's stirring something in you, go ahead and tap that like button. It helps more men discover these tools. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe and tap the bell icon so you don't miss the next message. These videos are built just for men like you. And I'd love to know what's on your mind. Leave a comment below with a quick, yes, if you're willing to try this tomorrow, or no, if you're not sure yet. Either way, I read every single one. Now here's a truth I want you to carry with you. When you begin caring for yourself in these small ways, your body starts remembering who you really are. And so does everyone around you. I had Ray come in a few months after he started his routine. He sat down, leaned back, and smiled at me. Doc, he said, my wife told me the other day, you're looking like the man I married again. That's the kind of feedback you can't buy. You earn it, with just a few quiet minutes each morning. This isn't about ego. It's not about impressing anyone. It's about reconnecting with the best parts of you, the strong, present, grounded man who's still right there beneath the surface. No matter your age, no matter how long it's been, there's a moment, often quiet and unnoticed, when a man over 60 realizes he's not done yet. Not done loving, not done living, and certainly not done feeling like a man. For many, that moment comes not with a loud declaration, but with a small decision. Something as simple as standing up in the morning and moving for just 3 minutes. You see, those few minutes are about more than blood flow. They're about reclaiming something deeper, your rhythm, your ownership, your presence. Because when you take that time, even briefly, to wake up your body and your breath with purpose, you're no longer reacting to the day. You're leading it. One of the most powerful things I ever heard came from a patient named Calvin. He was 69, a retired firefighter, widowed for nearly a decade. He told me he hadn't felt like himself since his wife passed. I don't get up for anything anymore, he said. I feel like a ghost in my own house. But after watching one of my earlier talks, he sent me an email. It was only 1 line. I stood up this morning and decided to move. That was it. A month later, he followed up. Doc, I'm walking the dog again. I'm whistling. I feel alive. That, right there, is what this is all about. Let's bring everything together. When you commit to just 3 minutes every morning, 3 minutes of mindful, gentle movement, you begin a chain reaction. You activate your muscles, stimulate nitric oxide, and send oxygen-rich blood to places that may have gone quiet over the years. You improve your posture, balance, and energy. And yes, you reawaken your performance, your desire, and your confidence. And when you pair it with just 1 minute of deep breathing, grounded in a sense of gratitude or intention, you go even deeper. You lower stress hormones, ease inflammation, and reconnect your mind with your body. That small practice becomes a lighthouse in your day, something you return to, no matter what else is going on. This isn't just theory. This is based on what I've seen in real lives, real men, real marriages. Harold, Thomas, Samuel, Ray, and Calvin. They're not fitness models or gurus. They're everyday men who made a small, courageous choice to show up again in their own lives. And now, I want to gently challenge you to do the same. Tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, before the coffee brews, give yourself those first sacred 3 minutes. Roll your shoulders, stretch tall, bend your knees, breathe deeply, touch your chest and remember, I'm still here. Because you are still here. And not just as a passenger. You're here as a man with purpose, history, and a future worth stepping into with strength. I want you to imagine something for a moment. just a simple picture in your mind. You waking up a week from now, standing taller, breathing deeper, feeling warmth in your hands and confidence in your chest. You smile in the mirror, not because everything's perfect, but because you feel connected again. That's not a fantasy. That's the reality that starts with one decision. 3 minutes, every morning, just for you. So as we come to the end of this conversation, I want to leave you with one final thought. You don't have to accept a slow fade. You don't have to settle for a life that feels smaller than it used to. You've earned the right to feel strong, to feel seen, and to feel alive in your body. It's never too late to return to yourself. And if this message touched you today, please tap that like button so this video reaches more men who need to hear it. Subscribe and tap the bell if you haven't yet. This is a space where we grow together. And I want to hear from you. Yes, if you're ready to try this tomorrow morning, or no, if you're still thinking about it. Either way, your voice matters. And I'll be here reading every word. Your journey doesn't end at 60, 70, or 80. It evolves, it deepens, and it can still be rich with power, with presence, and with passion. I'm Dr. Robert Jansen, and I want to thank you for showing up today. For yourself, and for the man you still are. Take care of yourself. You're worth it.